Well, good afternoon. As we're sitting here on Friday afternoon, January 19th, year 2024, here at the Hello Hello Show, and my name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access, and of course the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty and Francis Ann, and we had a wonderful memorial taking place last week. I think last Saturday was the 14th. It was family and friends, and it was a delightful occasion. And so, to be reminded about certain individuals that are making it their life's commitment and business to, in our case, to put together with followers and friends this wonderful station and making that concept thrive. Concept of public access. And then, of course, much to be said about the fact that it takes, people like yourselves out there, a huge group of people that knowingly or unknowingly, directly or indirectly, contributing to the concept just by doing certain things, just kind of that even instinctive actions that in more ways than one contribute to this concept, and we benefit from it. Of course, if you live in this community, you understand the extent of that privilege, and also if you happen to be a creative individual, even more so, you find yourself at the doorstep of I don't want to say impossible possibilities, even though in general, of course, the possibilities are impossible. But the question is whether it's possible for us to not to devote our lives completely, but at least to be mindful of the need out there for people who want to volunteer, want to share their thoughts and share their talents and help and come together in mutual respect. And of course, if you're in the world, specifically more in the world of art, then that becomes really intense. For me lately, I noticed that there's an invitation from, and I'm not joking you now, it's like if you're out there, if you are accustomed to my show, that you're actually watching the show, and you would know about me that even if usually you really don't know what I'm talking about, which I wouldn't blame you, but altogether, if you stick around, you realize there's a chain, there's a kind of direction, there's a suggestion. The goodness can never fail, really. Playing music is all about goodness. So already, by playing a musical instrument or being able to actually face a canvas, address the canvas, create on the canvas, beginning, middle, and end, adamantly, just in order to have you qualify in the eyes of yourself. You know how much joy that is for the person who creates it, and for people, especially if it comes out of this much joy, the viewers, the crowd out there will feel it, and it will do exactly to them what it does to you, even though you're the artist and you're kind of doing it ongoingly. But to be in the reality that speaks for, if goodness cannot fail, really. If you think about it, goodness cannot fail. And luckily for us, those that are kind of have a medium or a couple of mediums through which they express themselves, and they happen to be pretty good at each of them, and they happen to know how to cross-implement between what you get from each one of them and how you can crisscross with the other mediums. And it's just like the energy that's present, that in this case, if you have an engagement on more than one medium, that energy will be serving any kind of medium, any kinds if you were to play your musical instrument, that energy will be there to blend with you. And if you're painting a painting, and the energy will do the same. And um, and this ability is not just like about just straightforward playfulness. It's about enhancement of content, of that the meaning is picking up a direction that speaks for a certain concept or a certain idea or a part of a bigger plan. And so this is joy. Joy is goodness. Goodness can never fail. But then sometimes I realize personally that I have to go through a lot of cliches in order to feel comfortable that indeed I'm aware that when I need to get from one point to another, there's certain things that kind of a must. And in the past, for example, I know about myself, I skipped a few things because I just didn't like to deal with certain things. So I decided that I can put them aside, and I can still nevertheless advance. And I learned a little bit the hard way that at some point it's going to come and haunt you. There is no way you can put these things on hold while the machine of that desire to create is ongoing. And it never works. So the decision was pretty simple, that you weigh everything evenly, and you allow enough space, if only because you know that it's space that you're at your disposal, really you don't use to its fullest, that you can definitely spare. So it's like Mother Nature is already preparing the portions, who's getting what and why and how come, and at the end of the day, everyone seems to be pretty satisfied and pretty like feeling that they were treated fairly, So that's a good thing. So as I said, the people out there that know me, they know that I can, what I do. If I interview people, I interview people. If not, I kind of chatting, reflecting. Sometimes it's good, sometimes maybe it's not. And some of them are just kind of really energetic and happening. But there's still, nevertheless, a guideline that tells you, because I'm an artist, the nature of art. And if you know that I'm an artist and you've been to my exhibitions, then you kind of know. I know, especially about artists, if I go see their art, especially when I go see their art in an exhibition, yeah, I can see immediately. I have the whole story telling itself to me. I know everything about that person. It's amazing. I can read, and I know that in instances like these, you cannot you have, if your understanding is as thorough and as accurate as you think it is, then you must start giving respect 10% into the process. Respect. You realize people work hard and work and work and work and rework and rework and rework and work. And then they reflect, they think, they work, they think, they work, they reflect, they work, they paint, and they make decisions, and then they sort through the reservoir of creations, and they create different kind of groups. And here there's 11, and here there's 7, and here there's 9, here there's 3, and here's this 14, and it's just like each number, a world of investment of time and work and goodwill and knowledge and talent. And the greatest at anything, and and maybe 500 people know about you in the world and about your art. And but it but it doesn't matter really, because whether you're world renowned or whether just like a few people know about you and you have this kind of attitude, the paintings, the creations, the writings, the whatever medium you chose to create and to speak your piece will remain there, will grow, will improve, will um, affect people, will make people feel good, will impress people, will motivate and inspire people, and it, and then until the world at some point says, "Well, I can't do this anymore. I gotta slow down." So when the audience starts slowing down in your own happening, especially if you're like a painter and you tell people, "Come to my art show," and invite the whole world, and people come, and you're busy curating and with a group of people, with aids, with help, with friendship, and then you know for sure, for sure that enough art, indeed, you have more than enough, more than enough, more than enough, more than enough. You just can lift yourself into that level where you can just kind of maybe operate on a dream world like this, not no hallucination or no out of this world, something more closer to reality. But still, you're floating, kind of. You're just kind of, you can really glide to witness that greatness that unfolds itself in front of you, and telling you for your own sake, that it is at your disposal. And that's, if that's not humbling, it will be like challenging. Maybe even if you fail to understand what it is, it can be devastating. Yeah. It's like it waits for nothing. It it waits for no one. So you invite the world because you know that you worked hard, hard, like with public access. The people know about you or whatever, or people are aware of your art or whatever, and you have a stage, and you say, "Wow, this is incredible. This is like this mic is like the easel, whatever." Things, that level of creativity. So if I don't paint here, I speak about painting. If I don't write poetry here, which I did in the past, I still will write the poems later or something. I mean, it took place. It's taking place. It will continue to take place, and there cannot be a denial of 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 the understanding of what people must go through in order to produce the kind of things that they do, that especially those that make you think hard about the condition of your life, of your psyche, of your philosophy, of your everything. And that you're going to an event, an artistic event, and it makes you think about yourself. It literally, when I go to museums, I don't know, I try to go to museums now and then. Well, I used to much more than, but I always try to in order, if I want to go to the MoMA or whichever, the Guggenheim, it's like I have a plan, but the plan is to just brush through the space And now and then find yourself sitting on a bench somewhere in a huge hall, and not paying attention specifically to the things that are sitting right across from you and staring you in the face, but waiting patiently to hear the voice, your voice, that it hasn't heard for quite a while. And it works. It's just that if you don't do it often enough, it will always look and feel awkward. The creation related to the journey that you take now and then. And when we try to find, as we work pretty hard to find ways to journey and how to understand the nature of a journey, and what do you do about it, and how important it is, and how can you help yourself position yourself in the direction of embarking on a journey and completing the cycle. So you invite people and they come, and you sure you have enough work. You sure, there's no doubt. You know a lot of work will go back home after the curation is said and done. And that day unfolds, then you realize, oh my God, so many emotions. All the things that I didn't feel in the studio painting these paintings come onto the surface now as I prepare myself to, in the last hours, in the last days before you open an exhibition. And you say, wow, oh my God, this is like, wow. I'm saying wow, and I'm not saying what I'm saying wow about it, because I don't really quite know, because that feeling takes over and you're like saying, okay, to the left, to the left, to the left. No, let's skip this one, take it all the way there, and things like that. And two other people come into the picture and say, you must emphasize, and I say, you have a point, but we got 3 more of this particular one, so maybe there's an option to kind of increase that level of that statement. And they say, you got a good point, but are we going to kind of simplify it or enhance it? And so simplifying means what? Less paintings. Enhancing is more paintings, or is it the other way around? Enhancement is less painting, and kind of reflecting is more painting. But you still know always that you always have enough paintings, and not necessarily paintings digging out from the past, paintings freshly done on daily basis, that they're on daily basis. So you invite the people and they come and they walking around thinking to themselves, and you know what they're thinking. This is the beauty. You're at this level already that you really can figure out pretty quickly what people are thinking as they attend to your exhibitions, and say, oh my God, I think it's working, because they seem as if they're wondering about something that resides outside the immediate vicinity that relates to directly somewhat into art, so it's more like, wait a second, where does he get the time to do that? This is time consuming. This is actually quite a bit time consuming. And that means whoever you are, you need the time. And when you need the time, whether you're a complete moron or a great master, you still need the time. You need the time with which you can execute this plan, because this time is required. This amount of time is required. And you look around, and they look around, and it seems like as if it's a little kind of endless, something you're not used to. And you look at the artist, and you look at him, and he says, oh yeah, I know this guy. That's the peculiar guy, somewhat peculiar. A guy that does like 15 different things, and he does them all fairly well. And then, oh my God, so he's also the painter here. And then they think, what is it that am I going to? Well, I'd like to shake his hand, but when I go and to shake his hand and all this, will I open my mouth and make a fool of myself? Or maybe not, but maybe yes. And start asking him questions, not questions? Or am I just going to share with him? So you know what? You say, okay, I feel generous today. I'm going to go. They go to him. They go to me. They go to him. They say, listen, this is really fantastic. It's beautiful, very puzzling. I have so many questions to ask you. I won't even begin, but I'm hopefully I'll try and figure out what's going on here. Job well done. But and you like that person, especially because that person wanted to just say, fucking man, what the freaking heck? In the name of all the saints and God combined, how in the whatever did you manage to do this? So, because it comes directly vis-a-vis the reflection of, while they wonder and kind of ask themselves indirectly, could they have done that? They put themselves in the equation of, because they know something about art, let's say, and so the math is immediate, and they say, no friggin' way. If I have that many, I have like 75 days, and I have this and this amount of paintings, they're all fresh, they're all new, they're all this. No way in hell. No way in hell. Undoable. No way, no way, no way, no discussion. Impossible. Well, maybe possible, but it's insane possible. Insanity involved. Of course, we're not talking about that, so it's impossible. Then you say, okay, you know what? After a thorough examination, you realize that in the same time, if you were to give yourself wholly, W-H-O-L-Y, wholly, complete, absolute wholly, you would be able to create 30% of what you were just witnessing now. And of course, hopefully maintaining the level of decency, artistic decency. So you don't put anyone on the spot and just slap something and say, oh yeah, don't fabricate a plan or and copy paste the vision. Don't seek that which is genuine, even if you have to declare less. At least you know that everything that you declared carries that artistic decency. That goes a long way, by the way. So they come to your poetry reading because you write poetry, remember? And you and then you read your poems. Then you read your poems, and then you're so lucky that now and then it works for you because you can read just smooth, nothing extraordinary or anything. You just read your poems, and maybe if someone else could have read it, maybe it would have been sounding even better. But it's okay. It works well. You reading it, it works well. I can read. Now, I happen to write poetry also, so I listened to this person, and I said to myself, this is precious poetry. And as you let the speaker continue in your head and in your brain and in your heart, in the relationship between these organs responsible for feelings and instincts, the math is overtime working hard. And then they say, okay, wait a second. So he just read about 42 poems in the last 1 hour or whatever, an hour and a half. And he says that there's another volume of another 40 poems, whatever. And so suddenly you realize that you actually like the poetry. It was really soothing. It was kind of interesting. It was motivating. It was usage of whatever that was in a timely fashion, with sensitivity, with regard, with some experience, with knowledge, with care, and language. So And then you know about these things because you write poetry also, you write short stories also, you write aphorisms, you write prose. No, not many people know about you, but you write and you write well. So you look it down and you say, "The son of a gun, what the heck? What the what you write 100 poems in like 5 weeks, all organized, all solid, nothing to write home about, really, but good poetry, good poems. But then the whole mass of results suddenly form a features, and suddenly it's just intensely transforming into something that you yet don't know what it's going to be, but you know it's going through changes because the level of intensity is increasing because and mainly because you don't stop. Good, bad, more or less, red or green, you don't stop. It's going, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. Once you would have thought that it takes a.
We have a show in here.
Oh, really? Oh my God, I'm almost done.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, what time is it? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to cut it short. And, but as I said, so you realize that actually by continuing to do these simple adamant steps and stages, that that some more formidable things happen, and there's an awareness of other people because they translate everything against their ability to or disability to do what they're witnessing, especially if you're like specifically artistic and going about your way of creation and goodwill, showing goodwill, good desire. Everything works. Nothing incredible, but it is as a whole very kind of incredible. So I'm pretty much trying to urge you to do something about the fact that you have within you that which you most probably need and will kind of um, ask yourself, well, then, therefore, and then kind of make it a habit. And then, that since you're going slow or fast, but you're going, you don't stop. There's a lot to be said about the achievements, a lot to be said about the kind of ability to influence that you will have. And nothing but goodness will come out of it, as I said. So we're going to be here tomorrow, as much as we were here yesterday and as much as we're here this Friday, January 19th, year 2024. I'm cutting it short now because there's someone that needs to come to the podcast room. But I'm leaving you with blessings and with the knowledge that actually we have a wonderful group art show here every month. I've been curating these shows for 26 years. We have Josh Dayton with us this month, and Steve Lotion and myself, and then a surprise for the month of February and women's show in the month of March. So anyway, keep up the good spirits and we'll see you soon.